been painting, teaching, and sharing my art online for years, but even now I catch myself wondering, am I really an artist? This isn't a rhetorical question. It's something I sit with often, and I know I'm not alone. I hear it from students, from friends, from people just starting their creative journey, and even from more seasoned artists. So I wanted to take a moment to reflect on this openly, not with a final answer, but with an invitation to think differently about what it means to be an artist. We often confuse creativity with art, but they are not the same thing. Creativity is a way of thinking. It's how we connect ideas, how we remix what we've seen, experienced, and learned. It's not about inventing something completely out of the blue. We're not living on remote islands, untouched by the world. We're all influenced, inspired, and informed by everything around us. Speaking of social media, for example. When you take a bit of this, a bit of that, and make something personal out of it, that's creativity in your way. And it's not just for artists, it happens when you cook. Let's say you open your fridge, you don't have a recipe, and you find something to cook. Or when you decorate your home, or when you solve a problem. Creativity lives in everyday life. Art, on the other hand, is one form of expression. It's a way to communicate emotions, ideas, and perspective through a medium that can be painting, music, sculpture, journaling, and more. But not all creative acts are art, and not all artist acts are particularly creative. You can play a classical piece beautifully without inventing anything. You can follow a step-by-step painting tutorial and still not express anything personal. I went to art school, and there, being an artist was something very specific. You had to sell your work, get exhibited, live off your art. Art had to be serious, professional, validated by institutions. And without realizing it, I internalized that definition. Later, when I had a quilt making business, I often wonder whether what I was doing was art or just craft. Some of the quilts were figurative, so I felt they counted as art. But others, I wasn't sure. That's a long history of labeling textile work, embroidery, and other so-called domestic arts as less legitimate. These biases are rooted in a deeper cultural history, often tied to gender, and they still echo in how we value different kinds of creative work today. Now, like many creators, I spend a lot of time sharing my work online. And I realize how much this shapes what I create. I'm constantly thinking, will this post go well? Will people like this? Will it fit into a tutorial or a course or a video? I rarely paint for myself anymore. And I'm not proud of that, but that's the truth. We all know likes and views are vanity metrics, but they still affect us. They become the new form of validation. It's not the institution anymore, it's social media. And sometimes I feel like I'm performing the role of an artist more than living it. Even after selling many classes and having thousands of people following my work, I still sometimes look at what I create and wonder if it's really worth anything. Not because I don't believe in myself, but because I sometimes doubt the work itself. That's something I'm still working on, to remind myself that I am not what I produce. But when even one person shared that I helped them, inspired them, or made them feel something, I remember that maybe that's enough. Maybe the problem isn't with us, but with the word itself. artists. Maybe we've made it too heavy, too unreachable, too loaded with expectations, especially for women. But what if we reclaimed it? You don't need to sell your work to be an artist. You don't need to be full-time. You don't need a gallery. You don't need followers or likes. Am I convincing myself? Maybe. You just need to create something that matters to you. I've been talking about that in a previous video. We don't ask someone if it's a real gardener if they grow plants without telling them, or we don't ask if it's a real runner if they never run a marathon. So why do we hesitate to call ourselves artists? And maybe, just maybe, the most important thing isn't even the result. Maybe the real gift of art is the process. The quiet time you spend with your materials. The ways color blend. The way the texture appears. The joy of losing yourself in your work. The way creating calms your thoughts, soothes your mind, or brings you back to yourself. You don't need to produce a masterpiece every time you sit down to paint. You just need to enjoy the act of making. That's more than enough. If you've ever questioned your place in the creative world, I hope this reflection helps you feel less alone. You might already be more of an artist than you think. And if you're still not sure, that's okay too. I'm still figuring out myself. Thanks for watching and let me know your thoughts in comments. I'd like to know.